being very slow. I don't know what's going on with it. Okay, I am live. My internet was being very slow. I don't really know what was going on with it. So anyway, now here we are, and what we're looking at is a photograph I took of Whipple Dam State Park. And it's very pretty there. It was very pretty there yesterday when I went walking around. I pulled something in my like upper hip, lower back, right side while going to the gym from tight hamstrings, all that yucky stuff. And I decided that instead of going to the gym, I was just going to go walk somewhere beautiful like that. So I'm going to try to figure out how I can show you some of these photos. I am painting one of them. It's very complicated because my computer's on the wrong side right now, so it's in the right spot for you. Okay, there you go. So this is the beautiful place that you first see when you get there. And then, ooh, good, it is working. That is a log that I thought was quite awesome in black and white. So I took it in black and white. Well, there's some glare, but it looks pretty cool. And it was just so pretty, the contrasty and all that. So, good morning, everyone. Joining now, I'm doing a quick little slideshow and then I'm going to paint. So, there's in black and white because I like that sort of thing. And another view of the same thing in case I wanted to paint that. And I thought that there was like a monster that lived there. I swore that this looked like this really creepy, like monster thing. So I took a picture of the monster. So you like monster. So there is a monster living in Pennsylvania. And okay. So there's this animal that I saw. It was super fuzzy. And I first saw it and I was like, whoa, it's a cat. Wild cat can't be. Just climbing up this big thing. And I snapped a photo. Unfortunately, I wasn't as zoomed in as I hoped I could be. So this is this weird creature. Here's a zoom in. Let me make him even more zoomed in for you. So this is this creature that I saw climbing up this tree. And this part looks just like a raccoon, and this part is very pointy. So I had no idea what this is. It looks kind of like a quaddy. If you know what a quaddy looks like, maybe Google it. A quaddy looks like that, only they live in South America. So this is not a quaddy. Clearly, it is in Pennsylvania. But if you want to help me identify what in the world this thing is, I actually think it's a raccoon carrying its baby. There might be little tiny feet and it's angled. So that is my best guess, is that there is a raccoon carrying a baby, and it's not like a raccoon that like mixed with, an anteater. Who knows? So yeah, there's that mystery animal. I think that's more of the mystery animal. And this is actually what I am going to be painting. I think it's very pretty. And I don't know if you see it, but I see a man in this tree. So this is the man in the tree. You can tell me if I'm nutty or not, but I see a man right there going, hmm. So yeah, like this is the man in the tree going, hmm. So it's the man in the tree. Okay, and there was a black snake that I saw, and some little lizard. So that was my little slideshow. But let's get back to what I was going to do, which was I was going to be painting that. So this is what I'm going to paint. And I've sketched out this little value study. There's all sorts of stuff right there with darks and lights, and we'll get to that. So let's get to painting. I'm going to set you up. Move myself out of the way. Okay. That is not a good view at all. Hey, yeah, that works way, way better. So I'm going to be painting. I'm going to be dropping my canvas on the ground. Okay. It's all very exciting. Super exciting. So, okay. That's kind of embarrassing. Whoops. Let's move this over. I can see it. You don't need to see it. You can see what I'm painting. And that. These are the sorts of things I should get ready beforehand. But, oh, wait. Thing over. It's so complicated with my computer on the wrong side. Okay. So we are ready to paint. Yeah. And I have this full board right here with stuff from the last thing I was painting, and I do not need that anymore. So I'm going to be scraping it off. Hopefully it is still wet enough that I can scrape it off on this, and then I can scrape that and pop it in a little pile. And then I can use this color later. It's this mixtures of orangey and yellow, some blue going on. Scrape off the board, give myself a clean palette. So all this is like a razor blade on a thing, paint scraper, like that. Every time I paint, I either do this at the start or the end because you need a clean palette to be on. I'm gonna take my hair down. I like it better when I got some hair going on. Yeah, okay. I got some hair going on. So we are going to paint. This is gonna work. It's good to have it on arm level, so I need to raise this up a little. Okay. Okay, now this is in place for all y'all watching. I got this in place, and I'm gonna start figuring out some basics. I need to set in the lines of where things go. I need to mix a color. Actually, I'm going to water down the hue I had from before. I have this little eyedropper. And I'm just going to mix this. This is some odorless turpentine, some terpenoid. My brush. And it's all like watery, goopy, not goopy, just watery. That way I can make thin lines. And I'm transferring a photo that's like this wide to something a little shorter, but I think that is just fine for what I want. I'm just penciling it in, sketching it in. I guess you can't pencil it in when you're not using a pencil. And that goes there. Just a rough shape of the bank right now. There's a little thing over there. Shadow from there. And you can just kind of rub off some doesn't work for you. Change your outline. There we go. Sketch from there. So this is just very loose at this point. Like there's these two trees right there. I really like that one. Needs to go in over a little bit. As you can tell, it's very loose. Very loose. Come on. Be a bunch of trees going on over there. I want to put those in darker. One of the focal points of this is this tree. Has a nice shadow going on over the river. kind of bends right there. And then there's this nice arch. I don't know if you can see in this light. Okay, let's figure out how. I'm gonna try something. Please hold on. I think that helps a little bit. Okay, so that helps you to see. Therefore, that's way better for all of us. Yeah, okay. There we go. I'm kind of painting at an angle, which I don't really do, but all in the name of sharing this better. And soon I will be putting in darker darks anyway, which will help it so you can see, I can see. I'm kind of putting a little extra of this because I like the hue. I like that it's going to brighten up what I'm doing. So as you can see, it's kind of getting this outline going on. And there's these nice reflections. And this will warm up my whole painting. Probably tell this is pretty thin paint. Just it's getting a little thicker. Okay. So I now have the basic sketching in right now. Oh yeah, it is very bright in the studio today. It's actually cloudy outside right now, and I just shut the blinds a little bit, but apparently the camera wants to pick it up better. But it is brighter than some days. I live in the middle of Pennsylvania where it is normally cold and gray. It's not always cold, but it's very, very not very sunny, which makes me quite sad, which is why I overuse the word very, because what? I'm back. I need some blue paint. Okay, so one of the cornerstones of my painting colors are ultramarine blue. It's nice and deep, mixes well. And I want a little bit different hues because there's waters going on. So this is a manganese blue hue. It's a much lighter color. I might even go all out and do some phthalo. It's a little bit brighter. Okay. And I got my blues going on. We got the blues. Check that over there. Like this. So now I am going to mix my darkest darks. So I'm every once in a while I look over because I have my painting reference photo right there. It's very handy having two screens. So eventually I'm going to get another camera, and then I can have two screens and an extra camera, and you can see all these things that are kind of hidden over here. So if you like watching me paint, and you'd like to see another angle so I can angle it, either just on that or just on this, then go check out my Patreon, because the next few people that sign up, I am going to actually be putting that towards new gear so that you can see more stuff. Because like right now, the only way I can show you my palette is like that. And that just gets really complicated. It just makes you spin around and stuff. So I'm gonna stick like this for now. Um, so I just put some green. Second, whoa, I've lost the lid. This is a Viridian hue. So I use a little bit of green going on. It's very dark. It's good for making blacks. And I have to say I've mangled the container. So when I say making blacks, I normally make in nature, there's not black. There's like almost black most of the time. So I like to make almost blacks rather than use a black. So right now, like that. Getting some paint. I'm gonna start. And I'm not making straight lines because trees don't go straight. They have little bends and edges and curves. More of that. So I need to thin down my paint right now. I'm going to do a bunch of these little tree guys. Get them going on a little bit. Not all of them, just suggested. Since trees go from down to up, it's always good to remember to get your paintbrush and flip it over. And I'm just watering it down. That's okay. You might see it dripping right there. It's fine. It can drip if it wants to. And some people put this in afterwards. Some people put in the darks all before. I'm just kind of doing this layering thing. And the reference photo I'm using has, this is kind of strange, it has like this limb sticking over, and I'm probably going to leave that out. Put this over. Until it's a little bit dry brush. You might be able to hear that sound. Can you hear that sound, little scrapey sound it makes? Whoa, it's dripping. Okay. And one of the main focal points I'm making is I'm making kind of like right here and right here, some of the planes that are the focal point, I believe. Can always change, but it's easier to know what you're planning on doing. I'm just grabbing some paint, adding some dark. I actually want the water bits. I want the water bits to have a little bit more color, a little bit more green. And because they are water bits, I'm trying to make them a little bit more fluid. You can see. Good morning. It's nice to have you guys joining me. It's fun to paint with people. I'm always here alone painting in a way. My painting's a very solitary thing. Last night I was trying to paint and it was dark and storming. And then eventually it got so that I couldn't see anything. And that's when I gave up and decided it was pretty silly that I was still trying to paint, even though it was like, I can't see anything. I don't know what colors these are. I can tell that they're dark or light. Maybe I can't tell anything. And then I just kept on painting because, I had a project I was working on. But yeah, it's better to paint with some light going on. For anyone tuning in now, you can always tune in later and you'll see a lot more progress. I don't always finish this while I'm sitting here because it doesn't take just a couple, takes more than an hour to make a painting, but you'll get to see a lot of it as I'm here. Need to get up and take a break and stretch a little bit, figure out what and where I want my painting to go. That's a nice angle over there. I'm just looking, just getting its outline in. Okay. Yeah. So I am going to step back and see what this is doing in about a moment. I know I always keep saying that and then it takes longer, but let me get to that. Let's get new. All these. Okay, so I got the darks on. Kind of looks busy going on right now. Let me see what you're saying. So I don't know what one person that I can't read other language says, but hello. And it did rain a lot here. It was like storming and things were blowing over. It was kind of crazy. So I'm going to step back and look at this and assess. Let's move it around. And then you can't see it now. That's okay. I can still see it. It looks very contrasty. Cool. Okay. I got to sit back down. Got to set my butt right down, and I'm going to take a 5-second coffee break. And I have no clue if you guys care what I'm wearing when I'm painting. When I paint, I just wear clothes that I'm okay getting paint on because sometimes it happens. Coffee. Coffee. Very good. Okay. Think. This is where the decisions come. Now I need to get the color value a little bit lighter. So I'm being bad and I'm painting. And now I'm mixing with my brush, which is sometimes appropriate. And right now, probably not quite so perfect. Okay. And I'm putting in some of the little bit of green going on. There'll be a lot in this, but right now I'm just giving it the idea. idea of a little bit of the green going on. Okay. And then I'm going to lighten that up. It's good to wipe your palette knife in between so you don't get a big mess. So now I am using my palette knife and I am mixing. Make sure with white, with nature scenes, that you don't do too much of it. It's so easy to kind of white out your nature. Nature, you know, it might look like it's white when you take pictures of like highlights, but you'll have a much more dynamic painting if you try to tell yourself, hey, it's not white. I just think it's white. So we're not to that stage yet. We're not to that worry. I'm still doing rather dark hues. That is laundry going on, so it's noisy. I threw in a load of laundry so I can do two things at once because laundry machines are amazing. They wash clothes for you while you do everything else you want. Let's see. I need red. Okay. So it's nature scenes I always find a little more difficult to figure out the balance between the right amount of happy color and not turning it kind of gaudy over the top where you go like, why is that tree like so bright? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Need to. So I forgot the color. Let me go back in. A little spot. Needs a little bit more of that. I'm going in with a little bit more of this turquoisey color. Okay. Just add some more color to the painting. Okay, look at you. Well, let's see. Well, thank you. That's very kind. And so I'm just going in and adding. Wow, do you hear those birds? Those birds are fantastic. I love birds. They make just such happy sounds sometimes. You know, it is springtime when the birds are chirping. I'm going in and adding some of the lights right here in this. Chip, 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 chirp, 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 chirp. Happy birds out there. I'm just kind of giving it suggestion of the ground. And the leaves. Probably looks pretty dark right now. So this is very impressionistic. Okay. I hope I got the right hue on here that I thought. Yeah. It's time for me to add a few of these few of these lights help make it make sense. Should watch one of my videos sometime. I haven't yet watched. I should see what my face does. Do I have like a focus face? I have no clue. I hope I look relaxed enough. It should just be relaxing. Some of this at least. Definitely brain is moving. It's a lot of decisions. I'm getting a lot of bits on. Who's loud? The bird's too loud. The bird is fabulous. The birds are too loud. Um, and I have not received an email from you yet. So maybe send it again. Yeah. Do you check my emails like every day a little too often? I don't always get back to them immediately because there's so many emails. So many emails. Which is a good problem, I suppose. So what I'm doing right now is I am mixing some of the greens. I don't know, things start getting like overly green and pungent when I do them sometimes. So I'm trying to get a variety of greens that are earthy enough. Some earthy greens. I will show you what I'm doing in a moment. Because even though some of them are really bright, they're not really like crayon colors. And some of them are lightened out, and they need to be lightened out without looking white. And that is always a trick. All right, so I'm going to show you some colors. See how there's greens. There's like 4 different shades of green going on there. So I'm going to be putting those in. We'll see what that will do. Let's start with the dark one. And there's actually some green in the water. So it is reflecting from the trees. I've already put a little bit in. It needs a little bit more, kind of tying it together. Okay, so there's little speckles of really beautiful green going on here, and these reflections in the front. And those a little bit right there. I need to make one that's a little darker, so let's get it a little bit darker. This darker has more blue. Okay, so that's going to go in the shady spot. So this is where I'm not following this exactly, but I am following it mostly. So there's some bits where I can choose about where I want that. But there's also a level of it needs to go somewhere where it makes sense. You can't just invent. I guess you could invent a nature scene, but you'd have to be really familiar with where things go, and I am not necessarily that to that level yet. There's a lot of green going on. So I was going to grab another paintbrush. I'm going to go grab one. Whoa, that bird is loud. This one. Put in a few more darks. Kind of like reestablishing where some of the darks are, because sometimes they get lost as you go along. Still good, but we'll have a little bit more. Yeah. So that bird, I always think the bird sounds like a school whistle, like school whistle, get to class. Um, wanted these two to be a focal point, so you gotta make sure they're dark enough. You can also do that by establishing the contrast of what's near. Yeah, we gotta get some lights going on. Just moving around, looking for all the spots. I'm gonna put in some of this brightest bright. There's a lot of bright going on right here. Okay. Definitely a lot of bright going on. Starting to come together. So sometimes paintings look like they're like missing something. And you just have to keep working at them. And then you'll put that thing in that suddenly really works. And you'll be able to see what it was doing. That detail. Okay. There. A little dark right over there. You don't want to lose your little happy bits that are going on. There's some happy bits going on. So I did pull out a couple of blues, and I might put some of those bits in. You see what I'm saying? Muddy is way better than chalky. Let me show you what's going on so far. So far, let's see if this is glary. It kind of works. Yeah, you kind of get the idea. So the basic thing is coming together. I have mostly neglected there. The water's starting to have its little swirly bits. I always like to look at things from way far away to compare. From there, it needs a little bit more to see what's going on. Let me get this back where it's going. Okay. I think that's about right. That was working better. I'm going to put myself right here. Yeah, I think that will work. Okay. I'm going to put in some pretty bright bits going on. I think it is time to get a little bit of that going on. It doesn't have to be perfect. So this is an impressionistic style, which means you're giving the impression of things. You don't have to do every blade of grass. And in fact, you should not. Then it gets too detail oriented. I might actually put in this tree. I was going to leave out this like tree over here coming into the frame, but I think I might change my mind. So there's this tree that needs way too big of a paintbrush. Okay, so you gotta make sure it's wet. Okay. Make sure that this guy is well established. So I keep going back and reestablishing some of my focal points. They're very important. Sometimes I get a little bit different. Use some of what's going on. Okay. Right. The birds are having fun outside. Okay, okay. Now, I don't know, you're saying wide range. Do I make these like weird focused? Who knows what's going on while I paint? Um, now I'm going to add some more of that. Sorry, you guys, I'll just look at all that. Suggestion of trees. I always find trees kind of a pain. They're really beautiful. It's like you know what? You can't paint every leaf. You're not supposed to paint every leaf either. And they're like these little detailed things, and it's always like, how many do you put in? What turns it muddy? Who knows? Something you will gradually figure out. Going in and adding some of the reflections. Just a lot going on, as there always is in the forest. Mm-hmm. Get some really bright going on. Okay, let's get a bright. I think not too bright. Looking very green. Need to angle it for a minute so I don't lose the angle and see. I need a new tissue. And I get a new tissue. So I take paper towels and I wipe this paintbrush. Okay. That way you don't mix colors when you're doing them. And like you don't want muddy, not knowing mixed colors. So I am adding in some blue right now. What this thing seems like it is crying for is a little blue. It's got water in it, you know? Let's give it some specks of blue. That is definitely helping. It's very fluid. So now I got some very light. I'm gonna actually mix it a little bit. Ultramarine with this manganese. We'll put some over there. So I probably sound like I'm just putting it everywhere, which I'm not actually. When I say let's put it over there, I'm looking at it, just going, that is where it needs. I am making very quick judgments on where these things go. I'm not studying it super long. That's normally why you take some time away, eat for a bit, and then step back. There is a tractor going down the street right now. Yeah. Excitement of the morning is a tractor going down the street. Okay. When these really light, like right by, use a little more color. So right by here, the bottom of this branch, I really like. There's some little highlights. Back here, it's a different blue. It's more of a purpley. Ultramarine is definitely less zingy blue. So that's going to go right there. You. Okay, I know I've gotten more, a little more quiet while focusing. There's more decisions to be made at this point. More like, where do these things go? Add in. So it is missing a little bit right there. There's some dark going on. Just making sure it has the dark it wants. There's some dark there. Okay. And if it's wet, you can kind of pull these together a little bit. You don't want to lose your brush strokes with too much just pulling them together. Okay. I'm going to do one more thing right now, and then I am going to take a water break and work on this maybe today, maybe another day. It always hits this point where I need a break from working on a painting. I actually have a bunch of paintings going simultaneously. I used to just sit down all in one setting and work on one, but I decided that it was actually better to get more complex paintings, for me at least. I gave myself the ability to like go work on it and then come back later. So I'm going to show you what I have done so far on another painting. Okay, if I ever can put down my paintbrush. Okay, so I'm going to take a break from this. So I'm going to do one thing that's bothering me. I need a little bit of that going. maybe not quite so much. So my problem, I get tired and then I get overzealous with where my decisions are. Okay, so sometimes you really do have to just say, hey, dude, do that. Step away from the painting. Okay, that is what I'm going to say. Hey, do that. Step away from your painting. It's looking pretty okay, I think. I haven't even stepped back yet. Okay, so let's see what it is doing so far. So far, that's way glary. Let me get it angled. Just move you around. So far, it is looking like that. Okay. Okay, I think you can kind of see it kind of looks blurry, whatever things. Not if it even just looks better right here. There we go. So I always say step back, look at it from afar. This is where it is so far. It is not done. I'm going to angle us up. Well, I cannot believe I just sat down for an entire hour and painting. You're supposed to step back from the painting. So step back from your painting. And figured I'd show you what I'm also working on. This is almost finished. It's these two little adorable little cub things. You can tell it's not quite done. There's a little bit of random stuff going on. So I'm working on these little cutie guys. And one more. Last week when I was painting, I was working on this. It is not quite finished. It's getting pretty close. So this is from a self-portrait. I guess, no, actually it wasn't a self-portrait. This is a photo someone took of me. But now it's kind of like a self-portrait because I'm painting it. So this is my other thing in progress. There's always something in progress. So yeah, I'm gonna put that down. So thanks for painting with me. Thanks for watching. And I'm always good with feedback. So, talk, learn, tell me what you want to learn. And if you want to see the final products, I always pop them on my Patreon. And if you want to support me on Patreon and see what other cool things I do, I'm sure you've noticed there's paintings behind me. Some are from self-portraits and whatnot. So, and thanks for all of you who did write things. Yeah, thanks, Jim. And yeah. Anyway, I am going to get some water and step away from this painting and get on back to it. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Bye.